Hi, I'm here today with Jason Gonsalves. I'll get that right one day, from Holistic Brain Technique. And today we're going to be talking about body-mind connection. And I had something really interesting happen to me a few weeks ago. So anyone that follows me or read a little bit about my story realized that I was born to a mother who had schizophrenia, and I got taken away at a very young age, and she was very, very sick. And in that time that I was with her, I was abused, and it obviously affected me in my life. And I thought that I had released most of the stuff. I've done a lot of work over the years. And I was really at peace with her. And, you know, when I heard that she had died, I sent her love, and I knew that she did the best with the resources that she had at the time. And, you know, it was her learning journey, my learning journey. But the interesting thing that happened to me was a couple of days after she died, I had this massive big release in my my neck and my shoulder. And it was as if I'd been hanging on to this thing. And I probably had for maybe 40 years. And suddenly my hand turned into a claw, and I couldn't move my neck, and I was in a lot of pain. And I had to go and have a massage, and it was like literally an hour and a half from my neck to my shoulder to try and free me up. And it sort of really emphasized to me how important or how connected we all are to our emotions, to other people, and to our physical body. And, you know, even though I know this was a big reminder. And I think a lot of people walk around don't realize that how connected we are, and how our emotions affect our body, and how what we do affects other people. And so today, Jason, we're going to speak more about this.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you so much. It's always an honor. I appreciated the opportunity, like always. Yeah, it's a very fantastic subject, because you see that the body corresponds to emotions, and not only that, it's divided between the right and the left. And you see that the right side of the brain has to do with the feminine, the female, the mother, emotions, forgiveness, you know, connection. And as you experience your experience with your mother, you felt the energy that was passing through your body. And I'm very thankful that you have the courage to share that with the world. It's your personal situation. But I have clients, they are going through the same process. I'm working with some clients right now that they all experience blockage of communication through how do they feel with their mother and parents. And through our technique, we have a process that we take them to face the foundation of their life, which is family. And some of the people, they are deciding not to try to create the bridge based on ego and anger, which I understand, because some of us being abused by parents. But I always think that you have to ask the question, that's a reason why, you know, people or your parents, if they were abused or not, that is a karmic reason. That's something that it's important to take a look. But some of the people don't want to deal because it's shocking, it's difficult, especially if you're being abused physically or emotionally, sexually. But some of the clients, they are deciding not to deal with, they are experiencing pain on the right side of their bodies. Some of the females experience pain in the breast, the right breast, which is connected with motherhood, right? And some of the clients, they all that don't know how to defend themselves, which is the left side of the brain, is the defensor, is that the one that you claim your rights, that you fight for what you want. So some people, they are being so abused that they are very passive. They become slaves in the subconscious. And when they face a situation where they have to react to change their lives, and they decided not to, in this process of this technique, they experience pain in the left side of the back. The back, it's the exposure, right? It's where you don't really see what's hitting you. So it's very interesting that subconscious mind truly express itself in the body. And to me, that's a great confirmation that the work that I'm doing, it's right on with the right and the left. Another beautiful thing that we experienced is we had a client that has a friend that's a neuroscientist. And this guy used to be a hippie on the 60s, and he, did some drugs. He experienced acid, he experienced DMT, and ended up becoming a very big neuroscientist in the United States. And he confirmed through the process of this client, which is his friend, that what we're doing is producing natural DMT, right? And I love to talk about that because we all kind of live in a moment that everybody's very into ayahuasca. A lot of Europeans, Australians are traveling to the Amazon and having experienced healings through the ayahuasca process. I also have a lot to share when it comes to ibogaine, which is also an African plant that heals heroin addiction. But what I perceive, and I think it's a very important subject, is that when a Western culture person, when a European or an American goes to Amazon and they do the process, they face a cultural shock, right? Because you have to understand, India's been doing that for thousands of years to heal their emotions within the community so they can work in harmony. And Western culture has a completely different foundation when it comes to understanding that it's based on hustling, making money, success, look my car, right? It's very materialistic. So when they go over there, they do the ritual. The first day they experience hell, they poop, they throw up, they see hell and demons, and they go to a lot of pain, and some of them come out of it. But I heard that some people been dying with ibogaine, which is this African plant. And I believe that it's not that the plant is killing these people, shocking them. It's a cultural shock. So when the DMT works in the subconscious, they are not ready for that revelation that is super fast. The advantage with our process is that we give each client a 7-day process, which every day they will experience micro doses of natural produced DMT coming out of their own body, and with my guidance, using the foundation of the right, left side of the brain with the purpose of resetting the receptors and giving them a clear feeling in the subconscious so they can step by step use the DMT on a very productive way. Right, and which is different than the Westerns are experiencing in Amazon. I'm sure that's a lot of people having great experience with the ayahuasca, but I also see that's a lot of people going there with the mind of getting high, and they see the gnomes, and they see the creatures of different dimensions, and they see all those elemental spirits. But then when they come back to the civility, to their culture, there is no evolution, but just the fact that they got high on something. And I'm sure that's not the native Indian from Amazon purpose, right? And that's what I would like people to think about it, that people are very into that. But if you go do that, make sure that you learn about the culture of the Native American Amazonians. I'm Brazilian, so I understand it much better. I have the opportunity to connect with, to be part of it, to feel it. But to this process that we do, you will be able to have the DMT natural release, to experience the high and those visions, but in a very homeopathic and a very micro doses, and it's all natural, all through your own body.
Yeah, I think that's a very important thing to tell people. I know that a lot of these people that go on these retreats have never done any emotional work before in their life either. And we know that our emotions are like an onion and we have to peel them off. And so suddenly they've gone from not dealing with anything and not really dealing with their emotions and not knowing how to deal with it into this dark pit where they're seeing everything and they don't know how to know that, I've been into some places before where I'm like, oh, it's just too much for me. And I also know that the subconscious mind only gives you what you can bear. But I remember very, very long time ago, so 25 years ago, I tried marijuana. Mm-hmm. And I probably shouldn't have done, because my biological mother was schizophrenic, but it sent me into this crazy place. And I didn't know how to deal with it then. Now I realize I had an enlightened moment, and it gave me all of these messages. But 25 years ago, I was still backpacking and I had no idea. So it can open you up to can't handle at the time. And I love the fact that you say this is microdosing, because this is your body giving you what you can handle at the time, rather than putting something foreign into your body, even though it's a natural herb. Release these emotions. So I think it's a far safer way of dealing with emotions and feeling that high at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're completely right. And foundation is very important. And yes, when the DMT from the ayahuasca get into these people's subconscious, it's too much confrontation from them to handle, especially people that don't have emotional work, as you said. I'm actually very thankful that you meant marijuana, weed, hemp. Well, I live in the United States, and we have states, cities that are legalized, and medical marijuana is legalized in California. And I do believe that are fantastic benefits when it comes to pain, as a painkiller. I do believe that it's a relaxer. But one example, I used to smoke pot myself for many years, and I've been not smoking for a while. And I recently worked with a client, and this man been smoking weed for 15 years, 50 times a day, 15 times a day. And observing his process, his healing process, I analyzed my experience with it, and I realized that weed can definitely be addictive. That people can definitely become dependent on it, and a lot of people don't want to face that fact, because it's everybody believes that you should legalize everywhere, which I understand. It's better than alcohol when it comes and the consequences of the behavior when you're driving and when you communicating yourself outside. But this man, he used weed 15 times a day as a makeup. He was numb himself from his pain, from abuse with his parents, and abandon, rejection from relationships, and ended up in creating a paranoia and depression, and a deep depression, and a lot of anger. And when you think anger, somebody that smokes weed 15 times a day should be relaxed. And I can tell you that he was a very angry man. Thank God that now he's out. But what I realize is everything can be addictive. You can't depend on anything. Sexual, we all somehow dependent on something to release stress. But I would like to leave this thought to the community, to the holistic community. Paying attention on the ayahuasca phenomenon, paying attention on the legalization of weed phenomenon, and you will understand that it's not for everybody, right? Some people like yourself that come from just for their abuse of having a mother struggling with their mental illness, and having that vibrating to childhood, growing with that, and getting that fear, the energy, the confusion in your subconscious, right? And the first time you smoked, all that came, right? And imagine how many people are like you and like my client, and they are outside, they are afraid to face that, because it's cool to smoke pot. It's something that's cool. It should be legalized. It's part of the holistic movement. It's part of, the new generation. But I would like to leave these thoughts that people would appreciate and think more about before they expose themselves for the experience without emotional foundation. Is that clear?
Yeah, I think that's so important. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
I think, for some people, it's the same with diets, isn't it? There are some diets that are really good. Paleo works for some people. Ketogenic works for some people.
Yeah.
Eating loads of carb works for some people. There isn't one thing that's going to fix all. And when it comes to medical marijuana, I think it's amazing too. But I am a little bit, because of what it does to me and my body, I know there's other people out there as well. So what you're saying is be very careful what you open yourself up to. Make sure that whatever in a safe environment, or do something natural like holistic brain technique. You know, working with you, benefits of that in a safe environment where you can deal with your emotions. So I'm just going to do this to stop the camera. Yeah, so if people do want to find you and want this experience with you, where will they find you?
Look us on Facebook. The name of the page is A Holistic Brain Technique. My name is Jason Goncalves. I have my info over there, the email. My assistant, Albert, is a great partner of the process. He will take care of you. You can also send us a message on jasonlevy@gmail.com. JAAZON Levy LEVI.com.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.